Dandavat Pranam, Sripad Pranashis Prabhu.
Madhava Prabhu, can you see her and can you hear me? What do you
I,
have?
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Sound is okay?
Sound is great, and I can see you great too.
Okay, perfect. Lovely. Thank you for inviting me and for the little chat.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for giving me your association and for coming to speak about your glorious pastimes with Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj.
Yes, I was very fortunate. I actually spent quite a lot of time with Madhava Puri Maharaj in India and then also in Ireland, which many people don't realize. He spent about 3 or 4 months in Ireland in the 80s.
Hmm.
A lovely devotee called Sripad Gopeshwar Prabhu, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. He brought him over, invited him over, and he stayed with him for a couple of months in Dublin, in Ireland. And because it was just Gopeshwar and his wife Prabhu, myself, and a few friends for the Sunday, during the week, I basically had Puri Maharaj all to myself.
Jai.
And I had the great fortune in, he tutored me um, under Hegel,
Hmm.
and we studied the phenomenology of spirit together.
Oh, wow.
So we went through the whole book, and yeah, that was just. I can you imagine 1-to-1 tuition with Puri Maharaj, who had his own Hegel society already, and he'd already we had gone to a center called Minute where all the priests train, and we hooked up with the president of the Irish Hegel Society, who was a Jesuit or something. Yeah. So this was when Puri Maharaj really started to get into Hegel big time and started to delve into it because he was inspired by Srila Sridhar Maharaj to look a bit more into Hegel. So I was lucky to be in the right place at the right time.
Wow. I had no idea. I had never heard these things, Prabhu.
Yeah, well, nobody knows them because it's only 3 people know about this. Myself, Gobishwar Prabhu,
Hmm.
and Puri Maharaj. So yeah,
Wow. So now this was
this would have
the
been
80s, you
in
said?
the 80s.
Like I have a photo here of which I like to share of the two of you. I think in the Nat Mandir and Navadwip Dham for Gaur Purnima 1986.
Wow.
Here, let me share it.
I have a couple of photos and I can't, I was trying to find them before you came on.
Can you see this one?
Not as yet. Oh, yes. Brilliant. That's Ram Gopal Prabhu. The big tall boy is Ram Gopal.
Huh.
He's English. He's
Sorry.
a very good friend. The black man in the back is Bon Maharaj,
Yes.
who resides in Italy. I can't make out any other faces there, unfortunately. Yes, Ram Gopal, the big tall boy, he
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in India with Maharaj as well.
Hmm.
Back then in 1985, 86, 87, like that.
Yes. I saw in one recent Facebook post by Maharaj during Srila Bhakti Prapanatirtha Maharaj's appearance day. You had commented on that and saying, "Oh, I have shared some bus with the two of you many times," and Maharaj was also remembering your bus trips together in Calcutta.
Yes, yes, you would take the bus from Dum Dum Park and head into the city and go to all the businesses and do the usual knocking, 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 And
Hmm.
actually, Puri Maharaj found and nurtured one of the most important of Bengali devotees to come to Shri Guru Maharaj. He was, I think he was a barrister or something in Calcutta. He was very, very well established, and his name was, oh my God, what was his name? It's just after slipping me at the moment. But Um, Sanjit,
Hmm.
Sanatan. And we found him one day knocking, going to office, and he was very, very interested, and he really liked Puri Maharaj a lot. And we went back to him a couple of times, and of course we kept trying to get him to go to Navadvip. He eventually went to Navadvip, and he met Govinda Maharaj. And I'm not sure if he met Srila Maharaj. I'm not sure if he did or not. Maybe he did. But he became a very good friend of Govinda Maharaj in Calcutta.
Hmm.
Sanatan, his name was.
Sanatan. Okay.
Sanatan. Yeah, he was a very high class Bengali gentleman, a huge big businessman, and he actually took early retirement from his company because he just wanted to concentrate on Bhagavad Gita and stuff like that.
Oh,
He was a
wow.
fabulous devotee, yeah, and he was very influential and very helpful to Govinda Maharaj in his preaching work for many years. And he came to Puri Maharaj.
Amazing. I heard a little bit about this. I had a recent interview also with Sripad Purnananda Prabhu,
Yes.
and so I heard a little bit about this from him as well.
Okay. Yes, we were myself, Purnananda, Tirtha Maharaj, and Puri Maharaj would have been in Calcutta at the same time.
Hmm.
So we would go out together on various days and try to meet people and distribute the books and the usual temple stuff.
Prabhu, may I ask, so when did Your Grace come to the Mutt in the 80s?
I came to Guru Maharaj in 1985,
85. And
and I
so,
would have been every year 85, 86, 87, 88. I spent, I
uh,
spent over 2 years in India in many visits.
and so when you came to the Mutt, what was what attracted you to the Mutt?
Um, well, obviously, to meet Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who everybody was raving about fanatically then, um, especially the older Prabhupada disciples who were missing Prabhupada greatly, and they they found encouragement from Sridhar Maharaj when they went there with his higher teachings and the encouragement he gave them. And you know, we knew that Sridhar Maharaj's health was not great, so there was an urgency then. There was a big urgency, first of all, to get to India to meet him, and then to try and do whatever service one could do. So it really was drop everything, go there and do whatever you could, you know. And that's what we did. I mean, there was no facilities in the mart. Everything was just being built. The guest house wasn't even finished. So it was very rough in the beginning. And unfortunately, that prevented a lot of people who would have stayed longer from staying longer. You know, there was no beds. We were on the floor. There was no mosquito nets. All of this, the usual things that were not there,
Hmm.
which makes it very, very austere and difficult. And that's the way it was in the beginning. And
Yeah, that's rough.
it was rough, but it was nice because there was only a handful of people ever there,
Uh,
apart from festival time. So there was only like 5 or 6 people who lived permanently with Srila Sridhar Maharaj in Navadvip at that time. So it was very, very quiet for most of the year in between the big festival times.
so,
So
sorry.
yeah,
I was going to ask, when you first came to the Mutt, then how did you encounter Sripad Puri Maharaj?
um, basically he was a little bit different than the other big sannyasis who are big ISKCON people, as was Michael Marchetti, MD, if we know from the books, you know what I mean? We know all about him. But he wasn't a big personality in the sense that he kept to himself. He was very humble. He didn't put himself up on a big pedestal. So my first meetings with Puri Maharaj was actually when he was in his gumsha in the morning time. He would do sweeping. He would sweep the leaves, and he was clearing a wall of bricks. It was a big wall of bricks, and he took it upon himself to move them from A to B. which was like basically one or two bricks at a time, and you walked and you put them in place B, and you walked back, and it was a very thankless task. But oh my goodness, oh my goodness! Oh
He's this is with Madhavananda Prabhu actually. This is
yes, and a lot of people think that that's me in that picture, but it's not. I took that picture.
wow, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I'm sure I took it. I may be wrong, but I'm sure I took that picture.
Jai.
Yes. So there you go. That was how I met Puri Maharaj, just like Madhavananda Prabhu here.
Ah,
Same. Um, so we also started, this was our little project together. So that's what we did. And then it went from there and developed into a real friendship. And I
ah.
kept contact with Maharaj for a long time. And he came to Ireland for 3 months also after this
I'd love to
period.
hear more about that because I never have heard about this, and my impression was, of course, I knew he had, you know, he heard about Hegel from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and then Hegel ended up his philosophy was able to help that service Srila Prabhupada gave to him about preaching to the scientists, which is why he became so attracted to Hegel and to take that very seriously. But I thought he didn't start uh, interacting with Hegel societies until the 90s when he came back to the States. So I'd love to hear more about your experience in Ireland.
Yeah, of course, it was only myself and Gobishwar and his wife at the time. There was only two of us and a few of my friends that used to come for the Sunday feast.
Okay.
So, yeah, we organized preaching events with Puri Maharaj also in Trinity College, Dublin, which is the biggest university in Ireland. Well, the most, the most, what's the word? It's like a Harvard or it's
Ivy
really,
League kind of.
yeah, it's big time. And they also had a Hegel Society there. And we organized, we went to the room and Puri Maharaj gave a talk on Hegel and Krishna like this. Um, so no, he got well into it. He got right into it
Hmm.
from the very beginning. Like he was, like I said, myself and Puri Maharaj went to Maynooth College, which is where all the priests are trained in Ireland.
Hmm.
And we actually met with the president of the Irish Hegel Society.
Hmm.
Um, so Maharaj and this man already established some type of relationship. I'm not sure what happened with it, if anything ever did, but at least they met and sat and spoke, um, which was very, very nice
Yeah.
of that gentleman.
Yes.
So he probably never even heard of Vaishnavism before, or even probably the Hare Krishnas even, but
Right.
you know, he was very respectful and they really had a very nice conversation and they really appreciated each other. And yeah, that was that. And then, of course, Gopeshwar Prabhu, who he was staying with,
Yes.
who is not, he's very learned in the Sanskrit or in the Shastra, but he wouldn't be what you would call a philosopher or such. And as you know yourself, if you'd looked at Hegel at all, he really is that there's a reason why they call him the philosopher's philosopher, because he's almost impossible to get your head around. So it was very difficult. Poor Mirage only had Gobishwar and myself to deal with to try and encourage us to look into Hegel, but like I'm no philosopher myself either, so it was really tough going. And but he did what he could, and he was forming ideas that later on would come to fruition with his online stuff and all of that when he got a handle on how to do it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, he actually published a book for Sridhar Maharaj in Bombay.
Yeah.
Um,
The first English edition of Prapanna Jivanamrita.
right, yes, I have it somewhere here behind me. But yeah, so that was a big project, and he was working alone on that. He didn't have any help or any, resources. So there wasn't even an English version before. Do you know what I mean? So he was working from the Bengali, and it was tough going. It was very tough going, but he did it, and it was a start. It was the beginning of something great. Do you know what I mean? It was, you know, and even while at the time that Maharaj and his godbrothers left ISKCON and they came over to see Guru Maharaj and things weren't great, things were picked up fine after that, and nobody was ever really nasty to Madhava Puri Maharaj. He still had his friends in ISKCON for all those years, and because he wasn't a threat to anybody, he wasn't into collecting men or money, and you know, and this was clear from the start. You know, like he made this clear himself from the start also, and so he wasn't. Nobody felt threatened by him, and his own humble nature as well. You'd never know who would be. Nobody would be put out of ease with Puri Maharaj in any situation. So, and actually, that photo brought back a memory with Madhavananda at the wall.
Mm.
Myself and Madhavananda got very sick at that time, and Puri Maharaj nursed us personally all day, every day. He nursed us back to health. Like there was no doctors, there was no nothing, you know.
Mm.
And he actually came to our rooms every day, X amount of times, and did what he could for us. And yeah, he got back to health.
I had heard, I believe this must be connected to that photo also, that when you were piling those bricks, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, I guess where you were was visible from his from the veranda, and one of the so he asked his assistant who was there at the veranda with him, oh, what is Puri Maharaj doing over there? What are the devotees doing? And so the assistant came downstairs, I guess, and asked, oh, what are you doing to Maharaj? And he said, oh, I'm just doing some karma yoga. And instead of saying, oh, look at me, I'm a humble devotee doing bhakti, he said, no, I'm just some lowly person doing some karma yoga. And then so that assistant went back to Srila Sridhar Maharaj and told him that reply. And Sridhar Maharaj became very happy, I heard, because he appreciated that humble position that Maharaj took. So,
yeah, and he actually did get descriptions, like he said, no, Maharaj is moving that wall. He's moving that bricks over to, and he was really happy to hear that, because no other sannyas would have lowered themselves to such work. You know what I mean? And that was one thing about Puri Maharaj. He was always up for anything that needed to be done, everything and anything. I remember when he came to the London Moth once, Puri Maharaj, and he was cleaning the toilet, and one of the other sannyasis, like the commander of the temple, Aranya Maharaj, was running down the stairs, and he stopped one day and he looked and he went, ah, very good. We have a professor cleaning the toilets. He said, this is Sridhar Maharaj's philosophy. And off he went. And Puri Maharaj just looked at him and smiled and didn't have a clue what he was talking about, but like.
Wow, I never heard of his visit to the London temple either.
Yes, because at that time, if you were coming to or from Navadvip, you could always stop off in London. If you're coming from New York or California, you could come back one way and go the other way.
Okay.
And Sridhar Maharaj asked people to please stop in London and give your association there. It's a new temple, and they're happy for everybody. And please try and come or go via London. And that's what people did for many years.
Wow.
And that was also very, very encouraging. And especially because I lived for 5 years in the London temple. So we were getting first-hand news, people either going to India or coming back to India. And if they were coming back to India, they would very often have books. And we got the first books straight from Goswami Maharaj's hand or straight from Mahayogi.
Yes.
And because they were bringing them to Guru Maharaj, and they would bring the books back. And so it was really, it was at the beginning of everything. Everything was new. Everything was big. Everything was wonderful. Everything was fresh.
Yes.
It was all this. Because of the urgency of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's health, everybody wanted to try and do something while he was here. So that created a very nice dynamic, between the disciples and the guru, because it wasn't a case of, oh, the Guru Maharaj, I can do this or I could do this. It wasn't. It was like, what can I do? So
Sure.
when the time, do you know what I mean? And then when Govinda Maharaj came,
Sense of urgency, very much intense sense of urgency. Yes.
it wasn't your choice. It was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll do it. And that was it.
Very nice.
Like, I didn't want to go back to London. I had just left Ireland. I was ready to go back to Gopeshwar. And because of that, I didn't get back to Ireland for 26 years. I was in India for 6 weeks. I stayed for 6 months and never went back to Ireland for 26 years. And I had this vision of Gopeshwar Prabhu still waiting at the airport. Yeah, like, it's crazy. I just never. So that was the way it was then, and a lot of wonderful, wonderful firebrand devotees. We call them hurricanes. They come in, they cause a storm, and then they vanish. You never hear from them again. But they, you know the type. I'm sure you've come across them many times.
Sure.
And they're just in the right place at the right time, and they do something wonderful. And that's our, and a lot of these type of folks with this energy came to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. You know, Mohanananda in Australia, you know, the urban turban. For example, Badri Narayan Prabhu did wonders in a very short time. Sagar Maharaj, you know, Puri Maharaj. And lots of normal people, normal devotees who just rocked up, who heard, who got maybe the search for Shri Krishna or something. Or, well, Shri Guru's grace was really big. That caused a revolution in ISKCON. I remember I met people from ISKCON who said they were reading Shri Guru's grace in their sleeping bag at night with a little torch.
Wow.
Yeah. And they were just totally captured and bewildered and just wanted to meet Srila Guru Maharaj because of that book. So a lot of people came, did something wonderful, and went on their way. And Puri Maharaj was there at that time.
Yes.
As well.
When he left India, he was kind of forced to leave, you know. But there was some government problem was there.
Jesus, I know. I was running around with him all the time to these places too. We had great fun, but it was difficult to deal. You're talking 1986, you know, like no computers. Everything was done by pen and paper. It was hard to do anything back then.
Yes.
In India.
Prabhu, I was wondering if you had any memories of the Subjective Evolution of Consciousness book. Like I know Mahayogi Prabhu is the one who maybe primarily worked on that.
Yes.
And, you know, I don't know if he still has the more transcripts between Srila Sridhar Maharaj and those Bhaktivedanta Institute devotees that maybe didn't even make it into the book. But I'd love to hear more about that, because that, you know, for the preaching that I've been, you know, given my seva for, that book is so important, you know?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I'll speak to Mahayogi during the week, and I'll ask him if he what he can remember from that, and see what because he was actually dealing with Puri Maharaj at that time with that book. He did help him as well directly with that book, because he was in Navadvip in 1986 as well. And I'm sure 1985.
Hare Krishna.
So you would have been there. I know that Puri Maharaj went to Bombay to do most of that work, but that was mostly just the printing work. It was printed in Bombay.
Evolution of Consciousness?
Yeah.
Oh.
As I remember, it wasn't compiled there. He did all that in Navadvip with Nimai and with Kirtan Maharaj and with whoever would help him to do all that.
Oh, they helped with that book?
Well, yeah, whoever he would have, yeah, because there was no English. It was done from the Bengali. Up to that point.
Sorry.
There was another devotee called Bharati Maharaj, the original Bharati Maharaj. I'm not sure if you've come across him.
Purnananda told me something about him.
Yeah. So he spoke fluent Bengali.
Okay.
He was a teacher in the Gurukul in Mayapur. So he taught Bengali. And so he actually put together the first. Let me have a quick look.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the same time that Puri Maharaj was doing his Prabhu Namritam, this is the book that Bharati Maharaj was putting together. Okay, it's called The Treasure Chest of Divine Kirtans, Sri Kirtan Manjush. And in this, there is all the dasakams. You know, the Nityananda Dwadasakam, the Prabhupada Padma Savaka, the Daita Das Pranata Panchakam, the Daita Das Dasakam, Gorkishore Nam Maskar Dasakam, and the Bhakti Vinod Viraha Dasakam. And then he goes into the Prema Dhamma Deva Stotram, which would have been the first English version of this, of the Prema Dhamma, at the end of the book. So this was the first place that the Prema Dhamma Deva Stotram appeared here in this wonderful book.
Sorry.
And this would have been, is there a date on this? 1986.
Sorry.
Right? So, and this was done by the wonderful Bharati Maharaj.
So this was the first time these texts from Srila Sridhar Maharaj were being translated into English.
Yes, the very first. Well, of course, Goswami Maharaj and Mahayogi Maharaj, they had all the recordings from 83, 84, 85.
Yes.
Or 82, 81, 82, 83, 84, like that.
Yes.
So, but I mean, it took them 2 years to produce Sri Guru and His Grace from start to finish. So that's how long it took to put something together then, from the transcriptions to the documentation or it was like they had 20 people working on Sri Guru and His Grace.
Sure. I can't imagine how difficult it was in India to put something together in Navadwip at that time.
Yeah, really.
I can't imagine.
Everything was difficult. Like everything was difficult.
Sure.
Like absolutely everything. I know they had their own little printing press there with, it was Ramananda used to do it, the little Bengali boy. Just when you come in the gate on the left, there was a little printing press.
Oh, okay.
And it was with the letters, the actual metal letters you had to put in.
The typewriter.
Yeah. You know, like, and that's what would have been produced, and that would have been the invitation cards to the festivals every year.
Okay.
Or Purnima, Janmashtami, you know, Guru Puja, all the big festivals. So these cards would have been printed actually on that press, put in envelopes, and then sent to everybody.
Sorry.
So yeah, and then they started to use a little printing press in Navadvip because it was a bit better. They had a really nice photocopy machine, you know, stuff like that. And then of course, between Goswami Maharaj and Puri Maharaj and whoever else was publishing something or trying to publish something, they found a very good publisher in Calcutta that we used for many, many years. He was a really good family business, really good guy, father, son, the usual. And we worked with them for many years after that in doing things. So that was very beneficial. And that relationship would have been built by these nice Western devotees trying to do something. Another thing which came to mind, which to the best of my knowledge, no Western sannyasi has ever done, what Madhava Puri Maharaja has done, because I did it with him. We went door to door preaching, knocking on people's houses. Right? And that was really, really tough because nobody wanted to even say it. We were just like the Mormons or the Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, you're getting the door slammed in your face every 2 minutes, you know? And that was tough going because he was in his robes and I was in my robes and we were just there and it was like, it was the maddest thing to do,
Yeah.
really, because it was just totally soul destroying. He wouldn't give up and he kept at it and he smiled at every single door he rang. Everybody who answered got a big smile off Puri Maharaj.
Believe
And
it.
all I got back was the door slammed in his face every time.
Believe it or not, by Maharaj's grace, he also engages me in that activity in New Jersey here on a regular basis.
Oh no.
But you know, it's a little interesting. Um, New Jersey today, New Jersey is India's second largest trade partner. So there are a lot of Indians in New Jersey, like a lot, a very large amount.
Oh
So
way.
so 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 Maharaj set up his institute in Princeton, right? The Bhaktivedanta Institute, and Princeton is in a county called Mercer County, and or not most, but a large percentage of Indians lives in that county. So
Great.
when I go door to door, of course, like you're saying, there are a lot of no's and doors in the face, but surprisingly, there are also quite a number of people who will like give a donation and hear about our devotional programs. So it's it's kind of fun to do because, like you're saying, I mean, no one expects that, and you have to overcome like a lot of internal doubts
Yeah,
to do
I know.
that.
I was only a kid at the time. Like I was going, "Can we go home now? Can we go home now?" Like you know.
And in doing that in India, I can't imagine, as someone who doesn't speak Hindi or Bengali, I can't imagine doing that. That's
Oh,
like 10 times more
terrible.
difficult.
I remember I said to Tirtha Maharaj one day on the bus going in,
Yes.
I said, Maharaj, it's like, I haven't even read the Bhagavad Gita yet.
Ah,
I said, I know nothing about this whole thing. I said, this is not good for you. You know, this is not good. You bringing me, you know, like if somebody asks me a question, I'm just going to make it myself, you know, like
Hare Krishna.
he said, no, Prabhu, no, don't worry. Guru Maharaj will give you the answer you need.
Jai.
Don't you think for a second this
Yeah,
will happen.
yes.
And that was it. And I'm like, this was the beginning of my bailing out, parachute. I'm going. I'm not doing this anymore. Conversation that he just finished with one sentence and continued to look out the window and not even engage me. And I was like, but this is me getting out of this. Like, no,
Uh, Faith beyond faith.
baby. Yeah,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
Wonderful. Very,
Yeah.
very inspiring, no doubt.
So, yeah, no, everybody who met Puri Maharaj when I was with him, everybody liked him who met him. Everybody likes him. Everybody. He's just such a nice, sweet gentleman that how could you not like him? You know, there's something wrong with you if you don't like him, and there's something wrong with you if you don't want him as a friend.
Huh.
Even just as a friend, you don't have to do anything for him. Just let him be your friend. You know,
Hmm.
this is what I always say about the older guys. No, they're not interested in that anymore. Just he just wants to be your friend. You know, like
Mhm.
why would you not want a friend like that? First of all, do you know anybody that educated in your personal life? No. Okay. So this is the most cleverest man you're ever going to meet anywhere in your lifetime. He wants to be your friend. Like, you're really not interested? You have this man as your friend. Okay, time for me to move on. So, like, you know, it's just like this gentle old philosopher man who's a monk, who's lived all his life studying all philosophies, and now he's in his last days of his life, and he just wants to give whatever he has to anybody who will listen.
Yes.
You know, and this is the archetypical sadhu. You know, they're few and far between. You know, you can count on one hand or two hands if you're lucky. You know, and it's a this is like especially the last 10 years of his life have been you could almost say the most ingenious because he was just an open book and he was just giving whatever he had to give if anybody was inspired by a little, he was usually more surprised than anything else, and just so grateful for having the opportunity to speak to anybody who would listen to him. And he lived his whole life like that. Like he was never not on the clock. You know, if you were sitting somewhere and you sat beside him, he's on the clock. You know, if he accidentally was in the queue before or after you and you just start talking to him, he's on the clock. He never did not have time to speak to somebody. You know, regardless of how he felt or if he was cranky or sick or whatever, it didn't matter. You know, he just loved people. He loved speaking to people.
And Prabhu, I have to also thank you because at some point in your relationship with Maharaj, you acquired these Bhaktivedanta Institute bulletins, and
Yes.
and then, you know, by Krishna's arrangement, they made their way after 30 years back here to New Jersey with Maharaj.
Wow.
And now we have digitized them, so they're all available online. But that wouldn't be possible without your
Wow.
grace of saving them and taking such great care of them. So
Yes. I gave them to Muni Maharaj.
Jai,
Yes.
when they came to see you.
Yes. 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 And it was just, he was just, when I put I had him in a bag and I just, oh, here's something you might like for your archives. I've had them for a while. And I don't know, something happened to Muni Maharaj when they went into his hands. I seen something, I don't know what it was, but he just, they really touched him. I mean, the power of those magazines went through his fingertips. I seen it with my own eyes, and then up to his face. And then he was just so overwhelmed, and he didn't want to let them go, and he didn't want to give them to anyone else even to look at. He was just holding them and holding them. He didn't even open them up. He was just holding these treasures.
Yes.
And then after a couple of minutes, he went around the room and everybody had a look, and then they went back into his bag. So, yeah, no, they really are fabulous.
Treasures indeed, Prabhu.
Really. And I'm just so happy that they're really appreciated, because, as you said, these are 1981. That's 40 years ago.
Yeah. And
Really 50 years ago.
so many writings, so many articles from Maharaj that we would have never had are there inside these articles, magazines.
Yes.
And this one I'm trying to open up now, it has documented many of the experience with George Wald, that one Nobel laureate who they interacted with.
Yes.
And this, you know, this is the last one that they printed while Maharaj was still in Bombay with the Institute. And anyhow, it's not loading now. But, you know, it's for me as his student, it's so wonderful to have access to these. So thank you so much, Prabhu.
Right. I'm so happy that they're of use. You know, like, it's like everything. You don't see the value in things. We really don't see the value. Other people show us the value, because we can't see. You're showing me the value of those magazines now. Like, I never knew they had such value.
Hare Krishna.
So we don't always see what's straight in front of us for what it is, you know.
It's amazing. It's inconceivable to me, all these pastimes with the devotees, how they're interweaving and so much time passes, but so much love still exists. It's inconceivable for me to actually understand what is going on there, but I feel so fortunate to be able to tap into that in a very shallow and superficial way by hearing from Maharaj, and on that basis being able to connect with wonderful devotees like yourself.
Well, you're in the right place at the right time. Your Maharaj needs you now, and you're there, and that's all that matters. Nothing else matters before or after. You know, it's just historical things, meetings, people just become lost in data. It's only data. They're memories before and after. But now you're where you really need to be, and you know you should really, really be thankful and grateful that you can help Maharaj now when he really needs it. You know,
Yes.
like I can talk on about him, but I'm not good to him. I'm not doing anything for him. You know, I can't help him. So you really are the lucky one.
Hare Krishna.
So please, help Maharaj. Send my best wishes.
Yes, Prabhu.
And all those memories will always be in my heart.
Hare Krishna. Navadwip Dham. Jai Sripad. His Grace Sripad Pranashis Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaja ki Jai.
Bye.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya Sri Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Bye.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya Sri Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Sama Bhakti Veda Vrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari 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 Bol. Dhanavats Prabhu.
Thank you.